But more than that, as a former government buyer, it allows me to be able to say, I approve your proposal, and I stand behind it. Because why? What did you do? You gave me all the information I needed so I could check off all the things I have to check off. So anytime you create a proposal for a government buyer, know that that person's file is going to get reviewed by his contracting officer, by something called procurement committee, by the Judge Advocate General's office if it's big enough. If you help the buyer can more easily award to you. Always keep that in mind. And thank you, Jill, for rolling the slides. Where do bad proposals come from? Lack of training. You see all these bullet points up here? Some people are just tossed in and said, and told, go do this. Well, proposal writing is difficult. It takes experience, and you really have to have the experience and training to be able to do it well. Inattention. Oh, holy smoke. When my two boys started driving, I said 99% of all accidents come from inattention and poor judgment. Most accidents come from that. A lot of proposals come from inattention, and we'll get into that in some detail. Not reading the solicitation thoroughly. Read it. I know it's real boring. It really is. It's death. But you really need to read all of it. Procrastination. Remember that old lie about a lack of preparing on your part, or a lack of time management on your part does not constitute an emergency on my part? Don't believe it. If you're responsible for getting a proposal out and nobody's cooperating with you and everybody's waiting until the 11th hour, you are going to do an all-nighter. And then you're going to put Drano in their canteen. Lack of team cooperation. That too. I don't really think I have to do this. You have to do this. Okay, I'm going to drag my feet and give you rotten data. Hey, this is about the company, folks. This isn't like you. If you don't cooperate, if you're not a team member, we all lose. I don't care. Oh, okay. It's just great. Wrong person wrote the proposal. This happens all the time. It's like, okay, you have to write the proposal. I don't know anything about writing a proposal. Doesn't matter, you have to write it. But I really have a problem with these. Sorry, okay? It's going to be a great proposal, trust me. And my favorite bullet point at the bottom, reviewing your own work. You can't edit your own work. I write for the Dayton City paper about the Dayton Philharmonic before the concerts. I cannot review my own work. I will drop the, because I'm thinking through it, and I read it, and I read it, and I miss it, and Russell, my editor, says, well, you only did twice to it this time. You just can't review your own work, especially with something as sophisticated as proposal. You need another set of eyes, many set of eyes looking at that proposal. Okay, now we're going to get into some slides about common proposal mistakes. Oh my gosh, this is a depressing list. You look at this, you go, oh, how can I do this well? Oh my God, I'm going to be looking at these things. If you want to copy this presentation, it'll be made available to you. We've already PDF'd it and I emailed it to Teresa. Incomplete proposals. Remember, read the solicitation thoroughly. We really mean it. If you don't read the solicitation thoroughly, you're going to miss things. If you miss things, your proposal's incomplete and you're rejected. That's just how it goes. Print the solicitation out, even if you have to knock down 20 trees to do it. Make notes on it. Yellow highlighter, make notes. This is for Jill. This is for Harry. This is for Mary. This is for Bill. Assign tasks for this. Highlight things you don't understand. Ask questions. Read it. Highlight it. Spitbacks. Oh, this was my wife's favorite thing. Does anybody know what spitback is before they read the slide? You don't? Okay, so the spitback is you read the solicitation requirement that says, you will do something. And you respond by saying, we will do something. Okay, you want to tell me how? I know you say you'll do it, but I don't trust you. You have to give me a plan. So if you look at this, say, well, communicate frequently with the agency. We promise to communicate frequently with the agency. Well, good for you. Tell me how. Who's going to communicate? How often? When? What team member? How are you going to implement what happens in the meetings? Tell people. Don't just spit back the words in a proposal. My wife flunked out more proposals because of spitbacks than anything else. And spitbacks come from a company that isn't prepared, that really doesn't have a plan. So, your product or service didn't match the requirement. I sell moldy green Jell-O. Oh, good for you. Well, I want a MOBIS contract. Well, I'm sorry, that's for project management. Yeah, but I sell moldy green Jell-O. You're not going to get a MOBIS contract. Well, I'm going to send in a proposal anyway. Okay, fine. Look at the requirements. What are they asking for? Do your services, goods and services, match what they ask for? That's the first thing out of the gate. You didn't research the marketplace for price limit toleration. Your prices were way too high or way too low. Does anybody in here know about the whole issue of price range, especially with the feds? There's a price range. When they get proposals in, it's called the competitive range. Remember that. Let's say 10 companies propose. They're going to look at the prices, all the prices. Some are real high, some are way too low, and those get thrown out because obviously they didn't understand the requirement. Or sometimes they want to lose on purpose. Why would you want to lose on purpose? So you get the technical team reading your tech proposal. You don't really want to win this one, but you want them to be aware of what you're doing. So sometimes it does pay to lose on purpose to set yourself up technically for the next one. So, you say, well, we had a great proposal. Yeah, but you were 50% more expensive than everybody else. All you had to do was look online, you could have seen their prices. Oh, okay. Grammar, spelling, and punctuation. This drives me insane. When I would read proposals and they were littered with grammatical errors, diacritical errors, all those areas, I'm thinking, did you even see the inside of a high school? How many people here think that grammar and punctuation and spelling don't matter? Good answer. They do, more than you'll ever know. How many people here, as juniors in high school, really loved diagramming sentences and doing outlines over and over? Nobody did that. Nobody wanted to do that. It was boring. But you know what? Oh, I hate to say this, but Mr. Carney, you were right. I mean, you really do have to put your thoughts down in a hierarchy if you really want a great proposal. Look, writing is thinking on paper. It just is. They can't read your mind. You say, well, I knew what was going on. Yeah, but they didn't, and they're the ones that matter. So, organization. Next point. Your tech proposal isn't organized. It's not just the spelling and the grammar and all of that. It's also about how you organize your thoughts. You are trying to convince somebody that your technical approach is the best technical approach there. Make it easy for them to understand. Be very, very organized. This comes from what? The Roman numerals, and then the little dashes, and the ones, and the little A's, and all this other stuff. I hate to say Mr. Carney was right, but he was right. Okay, you filled your tech proposal with passive voice and inappropriate use of the future tense. This makes my teeth hurt. Passive voice. This is done so passive voice weakens your argument because the doer of what's being done is unknown.